What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Smiths, and we're returning for more of the non-album track journey we've been on. Thank you again to Days Illusion, and we're continuing through tunes from the era of their The Queen Is Dead album, 1985? Is it 86? In the moment I'm forgetting, I think it's 85. In any case, the next one is listed as a B-side for a non-album single, and apparently it's a cover of a group called Twinkle. I'm not familiar with Twinkle, so I have not heard their original Golden Lights. I enjoy the phrase though, but the point is I will have no ability to contrast or compare this with the original song. But yes, just to think about the phrase, even though it's not a Smiths or Morrissey written phrase, I do like the idea of something that is bright and golden, which often has a warm and or enticing allure to it. Of course, something that is golden can also be referenced in terms of having a false sense of value. It's something sparkly and shiny, but in a larger context it can be misleading or crass and shallow in terms of what it actually represents. But I don't expect that to be the case, because Golden Lights just feels like a more genuinely appealing or bright reference point. But as I said, this is not a Smiths original, and ultimately I don't know what to make of the phrase, either in terms of Twinkle's lyrical content or a phrase that has no additional context. So let's just give it a listen. This is the Smiths and a cover of a track apparently by Twinkle, and it's called Golden Lights.
Displaying your name, golden lights, it's a terrible shame. Oh my darling, why did you change? One in a million, I don't want to start. I didn't tell you how great you are. I didn't bother and scream and when you run your jack. It's not the same. You made a record that I just singing. All of a sudden the phone stops ringing. I never thought you would get the glory made you forget. Golden lights display your name. Golden lights, it's a terrible shame. But oh my darling, why did you change? Top 10 idol, king of your age. Who do you turn to when you're backstage? Don't you remember you once knew a girl? You loved her more than the world. This life's always like this forever. Good for one side, but bad for another. I used to put you behind me tonight, 'cause you make it all through the lights. Those golden lights displaying your name. Golden lights, it's a terrible shame. Oh my darling, why did you change? Oh my darling, why did you change?
See, that's weird. It's like a proper cold ending, as they say, and yet it faded while it was playing out. I feel like you could have left the volume at the normal level, because it's only fading for the last 5 or 6 seconds, and it ends very definitively. So that's a bit of an odd music engineering or editing choice. But yeah, so number one, sonically, that feels as little like a Smiths tune as anything from them I've heard, which I suppose, given that it's a cover, is less surprising, but it is notable. It feels more like a quirky little pop tune than a lot of their songs, certainly by this era when, that trademark, hallmark, indie rock with some melancholy and eccentricity seems to be their calling card. I will say the guitar felt like the most Smiths part of it. It still had a bit of that jangly guitar sound. But Morrissey's voice, which was one of only a few voices, and I think there was a female voice in there, which makes me wonder who that was. Was that a vocal from the original Twinkle track, or is it a guest vocalist? I suppose it could be both. I suppose it could be the vocalist from the original group, but recorded with the Smiths vocals. But yeah, it sounds like it was more than just Morrissey, and even Morrissey's vocals feel like they had an effect on them. There was a bit of a like layered, or what's the right word, like masked sound to it. So yeah, a quirky little track that, as far as I can tell, it's referencing some form of like entertainment creative person, which is to say, I don't know if it's a singer, or I think there was a reference to modeling something, so maybe it's a model, could be an actor, but we're saying like your name up in golden lights, and that immediately made me think, okay, so this could be more negative than I was thinking in advance, because it could be about the perils of fame, or maybe the selling out that is required to really become a star and to be a household name, and a person whose name is up on marquees with flashing lights and golden letters and so on. And maybe there's something to that. But then there was a reference to, again, what was it about, like being backstage? But certainly the main, like, the rhetorical question in the chorus, it was like, why did you change? So if it's changing, I am thinking maybe it's about, becoming less sincere or genuine in your pursuit of artistic endeavor in exchange for economic remuneration and or cultural fame or stardom. So yes, I don't know if that's really the dynamic. And what was it like? There was a line in the last verse, something about like standing behind the narrator, which I don't quite know how to take that. And again, backstage is where you're not in front of audiences and television cameras and so on. So I don't know how it all stitches together. Again, this is not a Morrissey written song, so I understand. So in that regard, I would maybe expect it to be less cynical or pessimistic or self-effacing, but maybe it could be chosen as a cover song by the Smiths precisely because it's driving in some of those same directions. But yeah, a shorter tune. I want to say like 3.5 minutes. In fact, not even 3, under 3 minutes. So yeah, a funny tune, one that again has less of a Smith sound than maybe anything else I've heard from them, even though I have heard some variety, especially as you get later in the Smiths catalog. But yeah, I'm interested. It's a funny tune. Ultimately, I do enjoy the layered vocals and the sort of call and response vocals. And as I said, if there's one aspect that really did still have that characteristic Smith sound, it was Mars' guitar. So in any case, let me know what you think, and the Sleeping Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.